So, you've decided that you want to start drawing to become the next Da Vinci. Here are the first 5 fundamental drawing exercises that you can do as a beginner artist. Starting with No.1 Lines. The first thing you shouldn't do as a beginner artist is start with complicated things like drawing a face, a dinosaur, or your sister, which ends up looking like an alien from Mars. What you need at this point is to start with something so simple so that you don't end up hating the process. For that, you start with line exercises. A line is the fundamental unit of a drawing. A drawing is nothing but a bunch of lines, different kinds of lines actually, put together. And just like how you need alphabets to write a particular language, you need good quality lines to draw a drawing, or else you'll end up with scratchy crap, whatever this thing is. So here's the exercise. Start with drawing a single horizontal line. Make it clean and as straight as possible, and then draw a line underneath it. Make sure the distance is equal between these lines. Now draw a series of lines underneath it, and that is the exercise. Don't worry about making mistakes, just move on to the next one and correct your mistakes as you sort of keep going. Now try different kinds of lines, like vertical lines, and then curved lines, and then wavy lines. And after that, you can apply different lengths to your line and involve your shoulders so that you draw much better. And then draw 2 points and connect those lines to practice hand-eye coordination. The whole point of this exercise is to not only practice the fundamental unit of a drawing, which is line, but also to practice control your drawing tool, which, by the way, is not your pencil or your pen, but your hand. Most artists end up with scratchy drawings because they can't control where their hand goes. We don't want that, do we? So practice these line exercises. Next up, shapes. Everything around you is made up of shapes. Even the things that you think are too complex to fit within a shape is made up of a combination of shapes. So therefore, the next exercise we want to practice is drawing shapes. Start with a circle. The way you draw a circle, by the way, is to not just simply draw a line and then try to connect it. No, that's not how you do it. You try to ghost it and then land the pencil. Ghost above the paper and land the pencil. Ghost above the paper and land the pencil. And draw a page filled with different kinds of these kinds of circles in different sizes. Or draw them in lines of succession if you want to. And once you're done with drawing circles, you try drawing some angular shapes stacked next to each other, like rectangles, triangles, and all kinds of different angles. The way you do this exercise is you change the angle of the shape and its size each time you draw. And make sure it all fits in like a nicely made puzzle. And that's it. That is the exercise. But wait, the real gains start to come from the next exercise, which are the shape combos. This is where you form new and interesting total shapes, which are put together by drawing different smaller shapes. Like you draw a circle, a triangle, and a rectangle, and then all of them put together forms a new shape. Now rearrange them in different angles and in interesting sizes to come up with different quote-unquote shape combos. If you're feeling a bit funky, draw some things within those shapes to make it all interesting. The whole point of doing this particular exercise is to teach your brain that the drawings that we will eventually draw are made up of a combination of shapes, not just its own singular shape. But wait, the world around us is not 2D, it's 3D. So that's why the next exercise comes in, which are spheres, blobs, and organic forms. All we need to do at this point is to take our 2D shapes and make them 3D. Yeah, 3D. By adding contour lines. Contour actually means edge, and contour lines actually are the lines that are on the edge of a particular form. Wow, so clever. In this case, by drawing these lines, you kind of define the form itself. So take your circle, draw a vertical and horizontal contour line around it, thus making it a sphere. Yeah, sphere. And then draw a blob, and then draw some contour lines around that blob, which gives this, like it looks like a cucumber. And then now draw some complex blobs, and then find ways to draw contours around them. Bob? Did I just say Bob? Yeah. Bob? This exercise helps your brain understand that we need to see the world not in just 2D, but in 3D. It's not just a shape, it's a form. And finally, once you're done with all these exercises, it's time for some shape breakdowns. Take a photograph that you want to draw and break it down into its 3 core shapes that makes it, and then 3 secondary shapes that goes on top of it, and 3 more shapes or details if needed. This is what I call the 3-3-3 method of drawing. Take a pick, you first find its 3 core shapes. These are the main things that define a drawing. Then you add 3 secondary shapes to that drawing so that you add more depth to it, which are needed, but it's not as important as the first 3 core shapes. And then finally, you add 3 more details or shapes if needed to your drawing. Most beginners actually start a drawing by drawing like a line and then they go straight into details. What are you, Picasso? But what you need to understand is that the pro artists actually start with shapes, defining a particular structure of a drawing and the form of a drawing, and then they add the details. And this exercise helps you teach your brain to do just that, to follow that process of drawing the structure and then building the building on top of it. So folks, those are the 5 drawing exercises you can do as a beginner artist. If you want me to hold your hand while doing these exercises, take my 7-day beginner drawing challenge, where we go through all these exercises in a practical way to apply it in just 20 minutes a day. It's got like 30,000 people in it and it's also free, by the way, so check it out. And that's it. Have fun drawing. Oh, by the way, here's a drawing prompt. Draw a flying pig on a banana drinking Red Bull. Not sponsored by Red Bull, by the way. I wish they could sponsor me. Yeah, they I don't think they sponsor artists. Cool, fine. Totally fine.